Hey, today I weighed 151.7. Yeah, it would appear that I went up almost 2 pounds from yesterday. Not exactly sure what happened. Hmm. Well, moving on. What was eaten? In the morning, I had an egg sandwich. Made from 2.5 eggs, split from 5 eggs, scrambled by my mom. She made one for me and one for her, with our keto bread with the seeds. It was very good. I had a cup of coffee to go along with it. Next, later in the day, I had a BC uh, bacon and cheese sandwich. We didn't have any lettuce, and I was too lazy to cut tomatoes, so I just threw together the keto bread with the mustard, mayo, and I fried 4 pieces of thin bacon with a slice of pepper jack cheese that I had the bacon melt on top of. Really tasty. I also had 1 serving of chicharrones, 14 grams, with a little dabble of spicy taco sauce and a little bit of chamoy sauce. I know that has a little bit of sugar in it, but I only put a little dabble. And I looked at it said 2 tablespoons is like 3 grams of sugar, and I put like probably 1 teaspoon on it, so it should be fine. And then the final meal I ate today. This one was honestly a little overboard. Um, it was 1/3 of a cauliflower pizza, um, split between me, my mom, and my sister. Which I looked at the ingredients or the nutrition facts for the pizza on the back of the box that the pizza was from. Apparently, it's like 32 grams for 1/3 of the pizza, which is apparently 1 serving, which it's kind of pushing it, not gonna lie. And then I had sweet potato to go along at, which also was probably pushing it. I'd imagine that was probably around 15 grams of carbs from what I ate. So overall, I had yikes, like 48 grams of carbs from all that, on top of the keto bread, which is 1 gram of carb per slice, which is means 52 grams of carbs. Not exactly sure how much that's gonna affect getting kicked out of ketosis. Probably a decent amount, I would imagine, but I don't know for sure. Um, but yeah, that's what I ate. I also had a oolong tea with 1 equal and one a little dollop of almond milk to end the day. Oh, and as I was eating the pizza with the cauliflower, or sorry, the mashed sweet potatoes. Oh, that also had upside down mushrooms with a little bit of cheese and pepper on them, which was pretty good. I think the cheese was mozzarella. And I also had this new drink today. It's called Ice. Not exactly sure if you've heard of it, but it's a really good drink. I had 2 flavors. One with my BC this um, more this afternoon, bacon cheese sandwich. Uh, it was the cranberry flavor, and I was surprised by how good it was. And then the other one, which was with the cauliflower pizza with the sweet potatoes, with the was the last thing I was? Oh yeah, the mushrooms, stuffed mushrooms. That one was the ice apple cider flavor. That was really good. I really liked that. And yeah, I took my vitamins. That's pretty much everything I had today. Alrighty. Well, now that we're going from that, let's see what exercise was done. Pretty much just a whole lot of walking at work. That's it. Moving on. On to the daily update portion of the video. Let's see what I can remember. So, when I got up by my mom, she had a egg sandwich ready to go, but she wanted some help, so I toasted the bread, I put some mayonnaise on it, and then we had our egg sandwiches. It was really good. And then we were talking about different things. One of the more interesting things was like apparently we're thinking about like doing a little show called Choices and the different ideas we could come up with that. So that's going to be interesting. Then she left to go to church. I would have come with her, but I know she likes to stay a long time, and I wouldn't want to rush her to stay. I mean, I could have gone in my own car, but you know, as soon as the sermon was done, I would have had to immediately leave. I don't know. I'd rather like be fully present instead of thinking about, oh, okay, it's time to go to work, you know, because it like ends at 12, and then like there's the whole closing and everything. So I just stayed at home. And at home, I decided to play a bit of the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on this guy right here. As you can see, that is proof. Pretty good game. Very good game. I very much enjoy this title. It's really hard though, like much harder than the first game, but I really like it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to get into the Goron mines, and I don't know how to unlock the ability where you can survive the harsh lava environment. So that's definitely going to be something I'm going to figure out a lot later in this title. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I've kind of avoided it for a while because I know you kind of got to involve yourself in this to really get the most out of it. But when you do involve yourself in it, it is a really engrossing and engaging experience. All right, well, after playing that for a little while, I got up and I greeted my sister. She was on her phone, and we decided to talk about ESP and how she was attempting to do this new meditation technique for mind sight. I think it was called like the clock technique or something like that, where you have to like have a full awareness of your surroundings, and then your breath, and then your thoughts, and then your body, like including like your all your muscles and your organs and your skin and your bones and everything. And then once you have that full awareness, it'll be much easier to unlock your mind sight capabilities according to what was being described in the presentation she was watching. She said that there was a meditation technique that was presented in the video, and she decided to try it out, and she said she got vertigo from trying it out. So I kind of want to try it out to see if I would get any similar effect. And when I tried this out, it was really interesting. I found myself to be more relaxed, and I found that my mind like felt like really calm and weightless after the experience. I wouldn't say I saw anything at all. I actually had like a face mask on my eyes to cover any light leakage to make sure I was in completely enveloped in total darkness. But I didn't see anything that interesting. So yeah. Well, anyways, after that experience, I went out and I told my sister about it. She thought that was interesting. And yeah, we were talking to our sister who's on the phone, whose birthday's coming up very soon, and we were asking about what cake and ice cream she'd like, and she said um, lemon and cookies and cream, or carrot cake and pecan praline, I think. So we're gonna have to make a choice there when that time comes this Tuesday. That's gonna be great. Well, afterwards, I suddenly felt like I really needed to take a shower, so I went, took a shower, I got out, got dressed, and I left for work. Um, it was a really busy day at work today, and it usually is during Sundays. Like it's nonstop. There's always something to do, and it was pretty crazy. Not gonna lie. Um, let's see if there's any interesting memories I could think of at work today. Um, I remember I started out on lot, and it was sort of like a hazy weather. It wasn't too drippy, so that was nice. Because we our raincoats were currently missing, so we had to do it just without raincoats. But luckily, it wasn't too heavy on rain, so it was fine. Um, just a little sprinkle, and yeah, handed carts to customers when they needed it, and had a good attitude the whole time. Did my best. Afterwards, the next 3 hours were spent on the front end with various different times doing go backs and coming back and bagging and all that good stuff. One of the more interesting things that I remember was one of my coworkers. Oh yeah, and I was also taking orders out. One order that I took out, the person who made the order actually made two separate orders under the same name. When I came up to ask them, "Hey, is this your order?" They were like, "Yep." And then I put their order in, and then I went to see them again one last time to wave goodbye, as I normally do with all the customers. But then I was told by my boss that they had a second order that they didn't get, so they were coming back to get it, which caught me off guard because, like, I was like, why didn't they tell me anything? Like, or why was it two separate orders? But I did put everything, the second order, on the cart and brought it out, and I said, "Hey, sorry about that. I should have checked my phone to make sure that you had a second order." And then the person said, "No, I should have told you that I did two orders, but I wasn't really you know paying attention. So it was all a big misunderstanding." Um, yeah, but because, like, I don't know, it why would you make two separate orders under the same name, like, and then uh, it just makes it all unnecessarily confusing. Like, is there like a size limit on the amount you can order in one, like, order, so you have to make it two separate orders or something? It's really weird. But I guess next time, I'm gonna learn from this experience, and if there's an order that I'm taking out, before I take it out, I'm gonna check to see if the name pops up twice on the order form before taking it out, so I can take two orders under the same name out. I know, I feel like the fact that that even happens, though, is unfortunate because, my mind has been primed, and I've been expected to take orders out under just one name at a time. Um, so the fact that like there's two separate orders under the same name, and like I'm not told about it by anyone, and it, I'm not expecting that situation to happen because it happens so infrequently. Just seems really really strange to me, really odd. But all was forgiven. Person got their food, and I suppose next time, every time there's a new order, I'm expected to make sure that the person who made the order's name shows up on twice on their account. It's just so strange to me, like, because like the first time, like, I scanned their order, everything, I put it out there, I take it out, and then I'm told by my boss that they didn't get the second part of their order. But I, I was fairly certain that I scanned all of their items, so the fact that I got that message was just so bizarre to me. Very strange. Well, that was one of the more weird things that happened at work today. It's like I just hope that like this doesn't happen again, that I just get them all on two carts next time. And that I guess anytime a new person comes, I gotta double check my list to make sure that their name doesn't pop up twice on the phone, so that way they get everything they need in one go instead of having to make double trips. Yeah. Well, anyways, let's move on. After that experience, one of my coworkers who is a cashier, we were working on together, and one thing we decided to do when we did like a good order was that like we did a high five, but he showed me there was a way to do the high five where like you can like have both ends of your palms meet and make like a big like kind of like a more bubbly sound. And when that happened, I was like, woo! Like I was like, wow, that was cool, And then the CSR scolded me for that. She said, "No, you do not act like that. You need to act more serious like an adult." And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I was just expressing myself." She's like, "No, not allowed." And it was like, "Oh, okay." And then I was asked to bring bags up to the front and restock the front of the store, so with bags. So I did that. As it was going out, there was some trash in the front of the store, so I asked if I could throw that out, and I was told, yes, you can. So I threw that out. And I remember I was like explaining the situation about the whole hand cup and me being excited, going woo thing, and it was one of the key carrier bosses, and like I told them, and they thought like it was funny because I was like making a little SpongeBob reference. I was like, yeah, I may be a wingnut and a goofball and a knucklehead McSpazatron, but most of all, I'm a goofy goober. Like I said that, like, because like I was feeling like, man, I was feeling like in the spirit of like that scene right there, because like, what's the harm in having a little bit of fun at work, like even if you do make yourself out to be a bit silly or goofy, like you're showing you have some kind of soul, right? Some kind of heart, and being scolded for showing you have some kind of like excitement about life just seemed odd. And thinking about that scene from the SpongeBob movie just seemed appropriate to me at the time, because like that's about like embracing your childlike side and your excited side and your expressive side, and like and and not cowing down to being just a boring adult man, you know. But I don't know. Maybe I did go overboard, but those were my honest feelings at that time. Like I want to be expressive, yeah, you know. But anyways, after taking out the trash, bringing in the bags up to the front, I was filling them in, and I overheard the CSR was telling the key carrier about the situation that I did the whole like SpongeBob thing too, and the CSR said they were acting worse than children, and I'm like, what? Worse than children? And she said, yes. And I was like, oh no, I can't believe she's making me feel bad for being expressive. That's, oh man, so sad. But that's just how it be, I guess sometimes. But yeah, so I filled the bags, and then I ended up continuing to bag for customers until eventually I was asked to bring a cart out and deliver French bread to customers directly by saying, "Hey, it's $2.49 for French bread if you want. We're selling them; they're fresh out of the oven." And that was what I was doing for like 7 minutes before my first break. So I took my first break and I did a little breathwork meditation with Breath with Sandy. That went pretty well. Felt pretty good about that, how that turned out. I really paid attention to how like Sandy in the video, like I followed the video Cosmic Energy, and I really paid attention to how he made like his like air in his tummy go up to his lungs and up all the way here, and then go down again when he breathed out. I really wanted to make sure that I nailed that, and I think I did. And honestly, on the fourth and fifth breath, I feel like I was in a super deep and relaxed and meditative state where like I started to feel more like my consciousness was expanding. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. Well, I went down, I continued bagging, and then I was asked to do a few go backs, so I did that, and then it was lunchtime. So I punched out for lunchtime, and I originally was thinking, should I instead go on like a little fast and not eat? But then I was like, nope, I'm hungry. So I drove home. I had my bacon and cheese sandwich with the chicharrones and the sauce on, and the new sparkling ice waters, and all that was really good. And I was greeting mom, and she was working in her room. We said hi. And as I was eating, I was listening to a new Digital Foundry video called Digital Foundry or DF Retro, where the host of the show, John Lennerman, is joined by three other retro gaming fans, and they all talk about like their like the best visuals in retro gaming and like the newest news in retro gaming and all this retro related gaming stuff. I really like I find retro gaming far more interesting currently than like where gaming is now. I don't know why. I think it's because like just something about like old technology being pushed, its boundaries being pushed, and seeing people still cling on to and make new homebrew stuff for it, and do all kinds of exciting things with like technology that they couldn't have done back in like the 90s and 80s. Something about that just feels like the human spirit really just like trying to break through all the limitations that are put in front of it through like the opposition of the dated tech. And I just think something about that is so impressive and profound and cool and just more interesting and entertaining than where we're currently at with gaming tech, where you can do anything. But the problem is it takes forever because you need to make sure that every single individual like part of like a model is high detail painted with 4K textures and assets. And it's like really the only limitation for getting good visuals these days is like how much like person power you could put behind each game and developer, and like we're getting kind of underwhelming results now. I feel like games like are just like too big now, and they don't know how to kind of specialize anymore, and they need to like do everything at once. I don't know. Visually speaking, I'm not really talking about gameplay, but yeah. Anyways, I think I've gone long enough about that. After I was done with the Digital Foundry retro video, which, well, I didn't really finish it. I was watching it while eating my lunch break, and then I had a Quest protein bar with a cup of coffee. I forgot to mention that in my eating portion. So sorry. There you go. I had a Quest protein bar with the coffee, and then I drove back to work. And the last 4 hours was pretty good. I threw out all the trashes I could. Um, the ones that weren't already taken out, like the outside trashes. I had to ask the manager for that night for the key to unlock the back gate, and I gave the key back. Opened the door, brought the trashes out, and threw them in the back, in the back trash tin, which was huge, by the way. Like, it was really like, and it was full too. I was able to fit everything in though, but it was a challenge for sure. And yeah, refueled the cleaners and the paper towels. I brought in 16 carts and the signs, and I helped bag for the for the cashiers. Yeah, it was pretty good, and I refilled all the bags too. So pretty loaded end of day. The funny thing was, I was about to punch out, but there was a customer who bought a lot of food, but their card wasn't working and they couldn't buy it, so they had to leave. So right when I was about to punch out, I asked my boss that night, like, "Hey, is there anything you want me to do?" And he said, "Yeah, could you please do all these go backs that we have now because the person just left with it because they didn't have money to pay for it." I'm like, "Yep, I can do that." So I did that, and I was able to split the workload with one of my coworkers, who was a GM, and we were able to get everything where it needed to be, especially the perishables, really quickly. And when we were done with that, I said goodbye to all my coworkers. I punched out. I remember before I left, I gave a high five, and then I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't cheer too loudly. I might be worse than a child." And then the person I was giving the high five to says, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "Well, the CSR said that you're not allowed to cheer like that." And it's like, "Well, they're not here right now, so you can do it if you want." I'm like, "Really?" It was like, "Yeah." And so it was like, "Oh, right." So I gave a high five. I was like, "I can cheer like a Noah." It was pretty funny and weird, but interesting. And then I left. I drove home while listening to the Once Upon a Time in the West soundtrack in my ear pods that I'm wearing right now. But for whatever reason, the sound felt like it was coming more out of this ear than this ear. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe it was just a poorly mixed conversion. I did find another audio track on YouTube that was better mixed. The problem was with this track is that it was like a remix or remake, and the woman who does the like vocals in it was clearly like kind of eating up the atmosphere. It was like chewing on the scenery, the auditory scenery, I guess you could say, and it just was a bit much. So yeah, that was kind of annoying. I was expecting it to just be the original, but sounding better, but no, it wasn't. Yeah, and after that, I got in the house some cauliflower pizza, some yams, and some stuffed mushrooms were being prepared. I decided to get a ice sparkling cider. My mom and sister want to watch a Simpsons, so we put on a Simpsons episode on the TV and we watched while we ate our meal. And when my mom wanted to watch another one, so I made oolong tea with equal and almond milk for me and my mom, and then coffee with almond milk for my sister. And we all watched another Simpsons. The first one was about Skinner getting fired because of a dog in an air duct, and then he ends up becoming like involved in the military again, which was a pretty interesting episode that had a lot of great gags in it. Like, one of my favorite gags is one where the dog's smelling food in the air vent. And that's the reason why he gets like in there in the first place. And then like we cut to a close up of what he's smelling, and it's like the lunch lady putting like chopped up horse into the soup that she's gonna serve and saying something hilarious. That was probably my favorite part. And the other episode we watched was about Apu losing his job at the Quickie Mart because Homer has gotten sick multiple times due to Apu constantly serving expired food in his store. And so they replace Apu with like a famous like Hollywood actor, and Apu feels bad about what he's done, so he decides to see if he can amend what he's the pain he's caused Homer by working in their house. and then at the end of the episode, Apu does manage to get his job back. That was a pretty good episode. I liked that one. They were both like episodes from like season like 3 and season 5, I believe. And then me and my sister decided to watch. My mom turned in for the night, and me and my sister watched some videos about remote viewing into the future between the years like 2040, 50, and 2060. Some common one of the more interesting things about watching that video was apparently a lot of the people interviewed or the guy who was being interviewed said he got surveys where 4,000 different remote viewers were tested, and the data was collected and cross-matched together. And apparently like LA's going to be underwater. Most vehicles will be electric. Roads will charge the vehicles as they're driving. And it'll be a more ecologically minded future. Government will be diminished. People will be more independent. It was a pretty interesting video. Pretty interesting. And then me and my sister had a little discussion about what we saw. And then I said I was going to get ready for bed. So I took my vitamins, I brushed my teeth, and I'm making my update video. And that's pretty much the day in a nutshell. So I'm just going to release this, and as soon as it's out in the wild, I'm going to go to bed. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Have sweet dreams. Good night.